Dr. Sean here, and I'm joined with one of my patients who I performed his hair transplant now coming up to 2 years anniversary. Welcome.
It's great. It's a great feeling.
Excellent. So tell us about the story. You know, what happened? You had a previous hair transplant and before you came to me, so tell us the story.
Okay, so I started experiencing hair loss back in about 2009. I went a couple years without doing anything about it. I tried to buy little solutions at Target, whatever, just throw it on the head and see what's gonna happen. And then continuous hair loss kept going. So the first thing I did was, because I wasn't very educated on what I should do and who I should go to. So I went with someone else and they weren't able to fulfill what I needed. I needed more density in my hair in the front part, and I couldn't get that, and I kept waiting months and months. I waited a year, still nothing, so then I had like unfinished hair growth in my head. So it was like, I can't walk around like this, so I had to do my research. I wore a lot of hats to cover myself, and finally I came across you. Then we had our first procedure. Amazing results, night and day. If you guys can see the before that I had with Sean, which I'm sure he'll show you. The confidence level that I feel is unexplainable. I never thought I would be able to really look someone in the eye again and feel like confident, feel like a person of just strength, and not worry so much about the front of my head and my hairline, and having a conversation with a person and having them think, oh, look at his head, like look at his hair, you know what I mean? So that's a great feeling.
Look, I'm glad it worked for you. The FUE hair transplant, especially ethnic skin, is very unique, and it requires a special mindset, right? And it requires to be dedicated focus. Special staff that's trained just to do this by me. I use a special tools, special equipment, special methods and techniques, right? And everything counts. If not, it's just not gonna grow. So I'm glad that look, now you have a great result. This is amazing, and I love it.
Right. Again, words can't even explain how I feel about my hair. I can wake up in the morning and just go about my day and not have to worry about, damn, my head and this, do I have to wear a hat? Who's looking at me? I can just do what I need to do. That's priceless.
I see. Now look, it seems that you had an unfortunate bad experience, and now your hair has grown. To people that are looking for doctors and physicians, right? What should they be looking for?
Well, first off, you need to know what type of hair you have. You need to know if you have curly hair like myself, if you have more straight hair, but Dr. Sean specializes in both of those fields, and he's tremendous with ethnic hair. So he's the #1 guy out here. Definitely, highly recommend.
Let me tell you, it hasn't, nothing's easy, but ever since 2009, I've really made a dedicated, like my whole life to this, right? I think about it 24/7. I'm like, and how could we, when we deal with thicker, coarser, curlier hair, tougher skin, how can we get the grafts in without damaging it? What kind of tools and instruments we need, in order to make sure to get high graft survivability? And this is the result of it. This is the result of many years of work, research, dedication, and I'm glad that you're happy it has worked for you. And
absolutely shows. All his hard work is just rubbing off on me in a positive form. Again, I'm just elated every day that I'm just able to wake up and not have to worry about this. So you don't understand. Like, I used to think about it all the time when I didn't have it. It's kind of like it's hard to even equate it to something that where people can understand. It's just because not a lot of people have hair problems, but the people that do have hair problems, we can all relate together, and he's a problem solver.
Well, thank you so much, and thanks so much for giving this testimonial to patients. This really is important.
Absolutely. So started to experience hair loss back in, I would say, 2008, 2009. I was about 19, 20 years old at the time. And what really brought it to my attention was because of the fact that I was going to college. I had a lot of friends who pretty much did not experience any type of hair loss when you're 20 years old. It's very rare that a person would experience that. So I always felt like the oddball out, having already looking like I'm 28, 30 or 30s, in my 30s when I'm not even 20 yet, so and at the time I didn't really have too much information on how I could fix this problem, and the internet was still new to the most part. It just was hard to obtain some type of information of a person that could do the work that I needed in that lapse and be able to do magic on my head. So I literally just try to hide it with hats and just, I didn't go out as much sometimes at night just because I didn't want to be around people. I didn't feel like me. So I ended up finally finding someone to do it that was not Sean, and they did the procedure and it was unfulfilling. It didn't necessarily give me what I needed. So I was kind of back to square one again. And I just kept looking and searching. I'm like, damn, I invested some money into this. It didn't work out for me. Now I gotta wait a little bit. And then finally, I came across Sean, and he knew exactly what I needed. I didn't even need to really explain. He's a master at what he does, and he's great with ethnic hair. And again, it was just more like, come on in, I'll take care of you, say less, and let's go. And that's exactly what Sean was able to do. And as you can see, the results are, I can live with it. It's not gonna be like my birth hair when I first got it, but this is absolutely great. No one knows that I even got this procedure. Amazing. So for the most part, it worth every penny. The confidence level that I feel is night and day. He changed my life. So I'm so glad I found Sean, and I highly recommend him to you as well. If you guys are thinking about it, don't think, just do it, because you're wasting time and you're eventually gonna do it. So when it comes to ethnic hair, obviously our hair is so much different than a Caucasian or someone else of another person's ethnicity. We have more nappy and curly hair. So it takes a special person to be able to work with our type of hair. You can't just get any type of surgeon to do the work. It requires somebody who's mastered that field. It's a whole new animal, is what I'm saying. And with Dr. Sean, I feel like he's great in both. It's just that I don't have straight hair. I've seen the results of what he's able to do with people with straight hair, but for the most part, what he's able to do with my hair is simply amazing. I put stuff on YouTube. We had people going crazy about it. I just threw it up there. I don't even have a bunch of subscribers on my YouTube, and the thing got 30,000 something views in a matter of a couple months. A lot of people messaging me, finding me on Instagram, that maybe didn't comment or anything, but the videos keeps getting shared, and Sean's name is really getting out there deservingly, just because of the fact that he's able to work with people with ethnic hair. So I highly recommend, people that of different ethnicities to reach out to Sean. So what it feels like, the new me is pretty, it feels priceless compared to what I was feeling like before. I felt like, I just felt like I couldn't look people in the eye. And it was such a hard way of living life, not being able to have fun and just be able to just literally let your hair down, right? But But for the most part, just again, not being relaxed when I'm around people, not being relaxed when I'm trying to have a real conversation with them, and not feeling strong, you know, and feeling weak just because I felt like people were like either looking at my head or people were like wondering, damn, like, how old are you, kind of thing, you know? And when I'm really only at the time 18, 19 years old. And just being around young people and feeling old, it was the absolute worst feeling. And I wish I would have found Sean a hell of a lot sooner. Thank God I did. The surgery, like the preparation, a couple weeks beforehand, I just make sure I, you know, drunk a lot of water, ate healthy for the most part, just prepared my mind and myself that, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and get this procedure done. And I was all for it. There was no way I was gonna back out of it. But the day of, very simple. He's gonna give you some shots around the back of the head just to get you really numbed. And then from there, it's just it's a walk in the park. You're not really feeling anything. There'll be times where maybe the numbness, you know, wears off just a little bit. Then that's when you go ahead and tell Sean, hey, can you numb me a little bit more? You won't feel it. You won't feel anything when he's doing the work, which is amazing. But I think the procedure is probably about a good 6 hours or so. But in between that, you get a nice lunch. You can watch a movie at the time. It's just the perfect little setting for you to get this procedure done. So, but after the procedure, you know, you're gonna feel a little bit of soreness, which is obviously natural. I mean, you're getting a procedure, but it doesn't necessarily last forever. That soreness is gonna maybe stick around for about a good 3 to 4 days, maybe even less, you know, if you're lucky. And it just depends on how well you can, you know, tolerate that stuff. Probably won't even be affected, but for the most part, you're gonna have scabs, you know, throughout the head. Key thing is you just don't want to itch it, do anything like that. Keep it moisturized. Dr. Sean will supply you with something that will be good to moisturize your hair and keep everything good. And for the most part, you're pretty good to go. Again, it's good to have a nice, well-balanced diet on top of it, because you'll just be able to help yourself and with your hair growth. So yeah, working with Dr. Sean was a great experience. He wasn't necessarily a guy that you know, that made things complicated. He listens to you, whatever you feel like you need. You say, hey, like, you know, I'm really focusing on this part of my head. I want to really, you know, bring this in. Sean knows exactly what you need, but he also takes advice. You know, there's some people that might not be able to, not want to listen and do their own thing, but Sean is he just adapts and adjusts to what they feel and what they want to do. And that's another reason why I highly recommend that you get with Sean. If you're still contemplating whether you want to do this procedure or not, my thing is, you know, we're only getting older. You don't want to live life to where with the woulda, coulda, shoulda. Just go do it. You know, if it's gonna make you happy, being happy is priceless. It really is. There's no amount of money that could change that. You know, the happiness within. If that's gonna make you happy, do it. So that's what I highly recommend. If it's on your mind and you're gonna be thinking about it, get it done.